පායගෙන යනවා.
අනිත් තාරකාවලට වැඩි ලොකුයි එළිය.
යන්න පටන් ගත්ත මේ යානේ.
A tense situation prevailed amongst local residents with the sighting of an unidentified light in the sky above the Vallavaya area last night. Similar sightings have been reported from several areas in the island in the recent past, with some people describing these light emanating objects as UFOs. The light was first seen in the western skies of the Yalbova area in Vallavaya. Area residents state that the light emitting object then travelled towards the east. According to information gathered by a correspondent, the light was observed from 6:45 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. On the 30th of last month, a similar incident was reported from the area between Diathalawa and Haputale. These are the visuals from that sighting.
It was like the sun, but we could not look straight at it. We were watching it for about 7 minutes, then it moved in the opposite direction.
On the 27th of last month, a similar sighting was reported in Chilau in the skies of Iranamadu.
I pointed my torch in this direction and made the light blink. Then it started moving towards me. I panicked and ran. Then I saw as if it was coming behind me.
Now we looked into the locations in which these three incidents were reported from. As you can see behind me, these three locations lie on a straight line.
It could be something perfectly natural that is in the natural environment, but UFOs are just what it is, unidentified objects that need to be identified upon investigation. Let's not mix up the two.
We made inquiries on a previous occasion on such sightings from American astronomer Sarah Seeger.
My personal opinion is that there is life in the universe because there are so many opportunities for life. There are 100 billion stars. We think each star has at least one planet, and there are 100 billion galaxies. But whether or not that life is close enough to Earth for us to detect, that is hopeless. Instead, we will look for signs of life in the planet atmosphere, gases like
News First will keep a close watch on these unidentified lights in the night skies.
On to sports news now. Scott Henry scored 172 runs, putting the Australian President's 11 in a formidable position against Sri Lanka on the first day of the three-day practice match today.
The Australian President's 11 won the toss and elected to bat first. Top scorer for the President's 11 was Scott Henry with 172, which included 22 fours and 2 sixes. Captain Usman Khawaja scored 56. With 11 fours and 2 sixes, Glenn Maxwell scored 91. Nuwan Pradeep Roshan and Shanaka Velagidra claimed 1 wicket each. At stumps, the Australian President's 11 with 390 for the loss of 4.
Englishman Alistair Cook reached his 23rd Test century on day 2 of the third Test against India at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata today.
Top scorer for the Englishman was Alistair Cook, who scored 136 with 19 boundaries and 1 six. The first English wicket to fall today was Nick Compton, who was dismissed by Pragyan Oja for 57 runs. Jonathan Trott scored 21. The only Indian bowler to claim a wicket was Oja, with figures of 1 for 65. At stumps, England were 216 for the loss of 1 in 73 overs.
Moving away from cricket, the International Olympic Committee said yesterday that 4 2004 Athens Olympic medalists, including Ukraine's shot-put champion Yuri Bilnog, have been stripped of their medals after retested samples stored for 8 years proved positive.
The 4 named athletes tested positive for anabolic steroids when some 100 samples from the Games 8 years ago were target tested by the IOC using modern methods earlier this year.
And 1 medals in Athens 2004 Olympic Games have been disqualified after further analysis of their stored samples resulted in adverse analytical findings, in each case anabolic steroids. The 4 athletes are Yuri Bilanog, who came first in the men's shot put. It's a Ukrainian athlete. Svetlana Krivelyova, who came third in the women's shot put, a Russian athlete. Ivan Tishkan, silver medalist, men's hammer throw, Belarus. And lastly, Irina Latchenko, who came third, bronze medalist, women's discus, also a Belarusian athlete.
The IOC further stated that a case involving a fifth unnamed athlete from the Athens Games was still pending. Lance Armstrong, meanwhile, will hold on to his 2000 Sydney Olympic bronze medal a little longer after the International Olympic Committee decided after its executive board meeting that it would wait for the UCI to inform the athlete and give him the right to appeal.
We need to have the situation whereby UCI, the International Cycling Union, notifies officially Mr. Armstrong from the fact that he will be disqualified, declared ineligible, and that he should hand over his medal. When he will be notified, Mr. Armstrong will have 21 days to launch an appeal if he so wishes. And it is only after the period of 21 days that the IOC legally can take action.
The suspended Indian Olympic Association defied the Indian Olympic Committee and went ahead with its controversial election to pick a tainted official, Lalit Banot, as its new Secretary General.
Boxing Federation Chief Abhay Singh Chautala, who was elected unopposed as IOA President, said the court order left them with no other option but to conduct the poll. Banot spent 11 months in custody last year following corruption charges that plagued the 2012 Commonwealth Games in Delhi and is out on bail. The International Olympic Committee suspended the Indian Olympic Association on Tuesday for allowing government interference in the election and said the body was no longer entitled to conduct the poll. Chautala also added that they would make a committee and will try to explain IOC the position under which they had to go ahead with the elections. The IOA had been directed by a Delhi court to hold the election under a controversial government sports code, while the IOC wanted it to follow its own constitution and the Olympic Charter.
Before wrapping up the bulletin tonight, we have just received another local story. One person died and another was injured in an accident which occurred in the 8 Mile Post area between Pinnadu and Kottawa on the Southern Expressway this evening. Now, police media spokesperson SSP Prashant Jayapuri said that the accident occurred when a cab toppled on the expressway. The injured person was admitted to the Horana Hospital. The police media spokesperson said that the deceased was a lawyer from Gaul.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's news bulletin. I'm Krishna Panditaratna.
And I'm Ramesh Urugal Bandara.
Good night.
Hotline 0114 896 896 www